Guys, this is Wesley Todd with Florida Prison Consulting, and I wanted to do a special video about the horrors of solitary confinement in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. So, solitary confinement, that's where Joe Exotic is right now at the orders of the highest in command, because they didn't want him to do a news interview on Fox News that was scheduled as he's running for president from prison. So what do? They locked him up under investigation. It's a cruel, horrible torture that they do, and they can do it for any reason in the world. If they don't like your hair, they just lock you up under investigation. They don't have to tell you why. They can keep you back there for 60 days or more. They keep some guys back there for 6 months, 8 months, and they call it investigation. That's their loophole. And they can do it for any reason. They don't have to give any reasoning at all behind it whatsoever. They just lock them up. So here's the deal with solitary confinement. I'm going to explain to you what it's like. I've been to solitary confinements all over the Federal Bureau of Prisons. I think the first one I ever spent time in was actually Lompoc Federal Correctional in the Medium. I'll tell you how I got there. I was taken to a firing range by the officer, and being a convicted felon, I'm not allowed to be around guns or ammunition. Well, the officer had us picking up live ammunition on the firing range, and I told him, I said, you can't be letting inmates touch ammunition. It's a jailable offense for inmates to touch ammunition. So when we got back to the institution, I immediately reported him to the FBI as well as the SIS officer. SIS is basically the equivalent of the FBI. So what did they do? They immediately locked me up under investigation, and they kept me back there for several days under investigation. And then they claimed that they found drugs in my property because they supposedly decided to search my property again, and this time they found drugs in my property. It was an absolute fabricated nonsense, but they were able to keep me locked up in solitary for about 2 months and ship me all over the whole United States of America. So this is the kind of games they play. It's cruel, unusual punishment. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I remember there was a guard that used to walk around singing at the top of his lungs. You're never going to see your family again. You're never going to see your family again. There's water running down the cell walls. The floor is a pool of water. There's a little tiny shower that's kind of built into the room. And I didn't even have a shower curtain for the front of it. So water would just spray everywhere if I even attempted to take a shower. The guards spit in your food many times as they pass you the food into the little food slot in the door. It's freezing cold. I mean, it is so cold in these cells, you would not even imagine it. A lot of times the mattress is like the nastiest mattress you've ever seen in your life. Many times it's got enormous clumps of material in this mattress. It's like impossible to get a good night's sleep on. No pillow. Very, very garbage blankets. I mean, just very garbage. You cannot keep warm in the shoe at all. The guards walk by and shine the bright spotlights in your face all night. Usually they leave the lights on as well all night. Sometimes in some places they've turned them off, but usually there's a bright blaring spotlight in the room, huge fluorescent, and sometimes there's up to 2 huge lights in the room. So it's like super, super, super bright. It's like so bright you'll get a headache, and then you'll hear this buzzing of the lights while you're trying to, sleep. And I mean, it's just absolutely miserable. I can't even describe to you the torture that solitary confinement is. And then here's the other part. I know in Lompoc, they put me with a crazy guy, this crazy Mexican guy. He was absolutely just off the chain wild. And the guy wanted to fight like all the time. I couldn't even wear my socks. A lot of times I would have my feet barefoot in the bed in case I had to jump down and fight him, because he wanted to fight us nonstop. And he even told the guards, he's like, look, if you don't get him out of here, we're going to fight. And the guards said, good, fight, kill each other. We don't care. So they do this on purpose. They pick a very, very unhospitable person that, you can't get along with to be in that same cell And then you guys are in there basically ready to kill each other at all times. And guys do get killed in the solitary housing all the time. There was another solitary housing in Sandstone, Minnesota that I was in, and I noticed that there was a bar across the top of the ceiling, and it hung down about 4 inches. And so I called SIS over. I said, hey, look, this is a huge suicide risk. People back here, they don't get to call home. They don't, usually the guards are stealing the mail anyway, so they don't get mail. It's a very, very depressing time here, back here all alone, with just the howls of other tortured inmates, and then this guard's walking by singing, you're never going to see your family again. I said, somebody is going to hang themselves in this cell. The SIS guy looked at it and he said, I called it an Epstein bar. I said, that's an Epstein bar. The SIS guy looked at it and he's like, whatever, walked on by. I heard that 2 months later, a guy did actually hang himself from that cell, from that bar. So, they're putting these risks here. I mean, these solitary confinement is so bad for the human mind. It's so bad to be stuck in a place under so much pressure. Limited canteen, you can hardly get anything. Sometimes they will actually let you get, let's say, envelopes or stamps. Sometimes in some institutions will actually let you get like 2 food items, but you can't get coffee. It's really, really bad. Like, prison is bad enough without solitary housing. Solitary housing is absolutely horrible. It's the most horrible thing in the world. It needs to be banned. It needs to be outlawed. And the guards that use this as, cruel and unusual punishment need to be fired from the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Anybody with a sick mind that would lock people up in this fashion and enjoy it. These guards laughed and they enjoyed having you locked up in solitary housing because they knew how much suffering it was actually bringing upon you. And these staff that enjoy human suffering so much to lock people up in solitary housing, they need to be fired. They need to be out of there. We have got some of the most inhumane people in the world running these federal prisons, including the psychologists. The psychologists in prisons are some of the sickest people you've ever met in your life. The psychologist in Yazoo, she would always tell people, if you drop your pants and masturbate to me, I'm going to get you locked up. Like, this is the first thing that she would even say, coming in to meet us as we were in orientation. And then she kept talking about it. She treated us like the human excrement of the earth. Nobody was trying to masturbate to her. Nobody even cared about her. She was ugly. She was hideous. She was appalling. She was probably the worst specimen of the female race you could ever imagine. And for her to have these be the very first words out of her mouth instead of, hello, gentlemen, we're going to try to get you home to your families. For her to say this kind of stuff just shows you how uncouth and just filthy this woman is. So anyways, guys, and these are the people, the only reason I brought up psych doctors is because these are the people that are supposed to monitor your mental health when you are locked up in solitary confinement. And you can tell just by hearing that these psych doctors are absolute witch doctors. They know nothing. They are garbage. They are the kind of people that can't get hired in McDonald's, so they go to the federal BOP. Anyways, guys, this is a little bit of information about solitary confinement because I know you guys need to know, especially with Joe Exotic being locked up right now by President Biden. The public needs to be aware solitary confinement kills. People commit suicide in solitary confinement constantly. It is a very, very bad mental and emotional place to be locked up in solitary confinement. So please follow me, guys, for more. This is Wesley Todd with Florida Prison Consulting. Our website is www.floridaprisonconsulting.com. God bless. Have a wonderful day.